sports and TV show streams going live on YouTube, streaming live on YouTube. Go to Commando TV. Go to Catch Up.
Today on Rescue 911. Terror on the highway when a 2.5-year-old girl is missing.
Allison, answer me!
She's discovered clinging to the back of her father's truck
I can't get the guy's map.
at 70 miles per hour.
The child couldn't hold on. How could she?
Plus, when a neighborhood patrol turns tragic,
I have an officer down.
Dallas rescuers fight to save one of their
You
own.
hit pretty close to home.
On Rescue 911.
I think I already put this episode up last week.
Somebody stamps it with this pig.
And she's figured out how to get
He risked his life for us. He did a real nice thing.
I think I put
sent him
this
a card
episode
that
up
had
last
little pigs
week,
on the
too.
front, and it said, I'm so glad you're part of my family, and signed it Wilma. And I'm sure he got razzed for that, but I just wanted him to know that we really appreciated what he'd done.
This is 911. Do you have an emergency?
Today on Rescue 911. In a country barn,
I think I posted that episode yesterday too.
Let's throw a party, you said. You'll have a great time, you said. I'm never going out in public again. Never. God. Oh my God. Oh. Leo! Leo!
This is 911. Do you have an emergency?
today on Rescue 911. Real stories, real heroes. A quick response unit airlifts a little girl to safety.
I knew that they were the people who could help her. I really couldn't.
Watch a real-life ER trauma team struggle to save her life. Plus, when a bungling burglar gives Santa a run for his money,
Why is he in your chimney, Aunt?
he winds up stuck between a rock and a fireplace.
We did get some very good pictures.
On Rescue 911.
I posted these episodes last week. Because I was Rescue 911 chimney
You got
trap
to go
book.
home that day, and he didn't. And you're proud of yourself for doing a good job. I know I did the best job I could.
That's 33.
This is 911. Do you have an emergency?
Today on Rescue 911. A cry in the night.
Oh my God.
The walls were covered with blood. She was just profusely bleeding.
A teen girl is critically wounded.
There's quite a danger of someone bleeding to death before we could get there to help them. I could hear some screaming in the background, but the caller was very calm.
Plus,
He told me he had dreamed that I had gotten killed in a car wreck.
when a cop is trapped in his car, a bad dream becomes a living nightmare on Rescue 911.
In December of 1993, 18-year-old Nicole Miller traveled to Dana Point, California to spend Christmas with her father Wayne and his fiancée Susie Breedlove. During her stay, Nicole came down with the flu and could not seem to get over it. On December 28th, before she went to bed, everyone agreed that she'd go to the doctor as soon as she got up the next morning.
Nikki really didn't feel good. She didn't want to keep her sister up sleeping in the bedroom. She had taken some liquid night cold medication, and that really knocked her out, which we were happy for because she needed the sleep. Before Wayne could even decide where it had come from, I was already up, put my robe on, and had ran out to the living room.
Oh my God.
As my eyes focused, the walls were covered with blood. She was just profusely bleeding.
When we continue,
She said that it was arterial, which means that it's spurting blood from the artery every time the heart pumps. There's quite a danger of someone bleeding to death before we could get there to help them. Oh my God.
Hey, guess what?
I knew we were going to have to start CPR on her, and was about to begin.
Of a contaminant known as NDMA in ranitidine heartburn medications. NDMA is a chemical that the FDA and World Health Organization both classify as cancer-causing. Now, prior to this announcement, CVS and Walgreens pulled Zantac from their shelves, citing the link between Zantac, NDMA, and cancer. If you or a loved one have taken Zantac or another heartburn medication and developed cancer, how do you fight for the compensation you deserve? You choose the right legal team that has the experience, support staff, and resources to seek the most compensation for your injuries. Call now.
School's in session with the Steve Harvey Show, weekdays at 7 on Get TV.
Fire department. My stepdaughter can't breathe. What address? There's a hole in her chest. What address is she at? 30.
Orange County Fire Dispatcher Lori Fenimore took the call.
I knew we were going to have to start CPR on her and was about to begin to walk the caller through CPR over the telephone when the patient began to breathe on her own.
Okay, she's not breathing at all? No. Are you sure? Lay her flat on the floor. Yeah, get her flat on her back on the floor. Okay, how old is she? She's 17. Okay. Grab her over here. Keep going, you got her. You're okay. Oh, no. Okay. All right, sweetie. She's yeah.
I remember losing it, saying, "Oh my God, not Nikki. Please, not Nikki."
Okay, I have the paramedics on her.
I could hear some screaming in the background, but the caller was very calm.
Honey, go get a towel, put pressure on her. Nikki, keep breathing.
I thought I was on the point of losing her. And that was the biggest fear of my life, was losing one of my children.
We need to do is get a towel and apply direct pressure to the wound, okay?
Obviously, the person on the other end of the phone was just a step ahead of me, which is good because it was such a serious call.
Okay, arterial. It is arterial. Okay.
She said that it was arterial, which means that it's spurting blood from the artery every time the heart pumps. There's quite a danger of someone bleeding to death before we could get there to help them if the bleeding isn't stopped.
Nikki, breathe, okay, sweetheart? It is arterial. I can just feel it pumping out. Okay.
Because of how it was bleeding, I wanted them to know the severity of it. But I had just decided right then, I will not let you die.
Oh my God. Okay, is she still breathing? Yeah, Nikki, you still breathing, honey? Okay. You're fine, sweetheart. You just cut your neck a little. You're all right. Oh my God.
It was hard because I was so afraid that Nikki was going to catch on to the severity of what was going on.
Okay. Why don't we, if you can, without making the bleeding any worse, why don't you go ahead and elevate her legs and feet a little bit. Try to... Wait, elevate her legs for me, please.
I was grabbing the pillows off the couch to elevate her legs. And at that time also noticing how much blood again she had lost.
Oh, she's come back.
Yeah, I thought she was gone. I was so afraid.
You're doing a really good job at staying calm and keeping everybody else calm.
Had she not maintained direct pressure on the wound, in the time it took the paramedics to respond to drive there, the daughter would have bled to death.
Within 7 minutes, paramedic Skip Hawkins and his partner arrived.
We walk through the door, we see blood literally everywhere. You don't expect to see this kind of scenario underneath a Christmas tree.
Okay, we're going to take a look at it.
Paramedic Eric Leverance was treating the wound.
My concern was, when I opened it up to take a look at it, was I going to let air into the vessel, which would cause an air embolism. And once the ambulance got there, we wanted to get going.
At Mission Hospital Regional Medical Center, 18-year-old Nicole Miller was immediately rushed into surgery. Trauma surgeon Kenneth Kushner performed the delicate operation.
Nicole has sustained a major laceration of the internal jugular vein. It is a very high flow vein, and clearly if it's allowed to continue to keep bleeding, the patient can hemorrhage severely. Let's see what we got when we get in there.
Well, I'm scared to death, hoping everything's going to go all right. Scared to death because she had lost so much blood. Both of us started crying again, and not knowing what was going on. With the big fear that someone's going to come and say she didn't make it.
Although Nicole suffered massive blood loss, amazingly within 2 months, she had fully recovered.
Nikki goes, "I don't care how bad the scar looks. I'm glad to be alive." And we all started crying.
It wasn't a minor call, but it was a relatively easy procedure to do that saved her life. I mean, anybody can learn how to do direct pressure. If you just learn the basics, it helps the emergency personnel tremendously.
They can attribute them having a living daughter to these basic skills that they had learned and remembered and acted upon. Because if you can save your own child's life, that is the best gift of all.
Okay. We were close before this ever happened, but it's brought us a lot closer in a lot of ways. My dad, he's the greatest guy I know.
Ooh, they're having
He's always
ice
there.
cream cone.
And he really shows his love. And that he cares.
That's healing up real fast. How do you express
I love ice.
to someone how much you love her? Just show it daily.
Susie's a very wonderful person, and she's perfect for my dad. She'll make our family very happy. I mean, she already has. Susie's... There's not enough words to say how wonderful of a person she is. Curious to know what happened. It's just... I feel it was a miracle that she's here. I don't really say that to her. And I think we've proven we can make it through anything, and we will.
Next, been raining a little bit, and we get a lot of speeders there, and we clocked them doing, some of them doing over 100 mile an hour.
Nights on Get TV.
Mike Loveday had been a sheriff's deputy in Knoxville, Tennessee for more than 4 years. He was well aware of the dangers of his job. But on April 4th, 1988, his own personal safety was the furthest thing from his mind.
It was Easter Sunday morning, and Mike had been on midnight shift. And he came in about 6:30 in the morning, went to bed, and my son and I got up around 8, went into the living room, so not to disturb Mike.
You excited that means for Easter?
Becky? Becky? Are you okay?
He was sitting up, he was in a cold sweat, just shaking, and I said, what's wrong, what's wrong? He said, oh, nothing, I just had a bad dream. He said, I'm gonna go back to sleep, wake me up in a little while. When he told me he had a bad dream, it scared me. He never has bad dreams like that. He's never hollered out in the middle of the night or while he's been resting or anything. Just off and on during the course of the day, I had asked him what his dream was about, and he didn't want to talk about it. I'll tell you later, he kept putting me off like that. That night, Mike went to work, and he called me around midnight. I was talking to him and convinced him to tell me about his dreams. And he told me that he had dreamed that I had gotten killed in a car wreck and that it was all over the TV and newspaper. Well, he told me he would talk to his captain, try to come home around 2. So we hung up the phone, and I just had this real bad feeling that something was going to happen. That just an instinct or gut feeling that something bad, was about to happen.
A short while later, Mike met up with fellow officer and friend Ed Cummings. Been raining a little bit. We were sitting there just chit-chatting, and we get a lot of speeders there, and we've clocked them doing, some of them doing over 100 mile an hour. Down the hill, and it's just 45 mile an hour speed zone. The dispatcher came back 2 or 3 times and asked him, Mike, tag number or further description or the location or whatever. Well, Mike never did.
So I got on the radio. I said, can't get a tag number, we can't see.
Rescue units were immediately dispatched to the scene.
I thought it was dead from the way it looked. I can't get the doors open. The doors are jammed where the rear end has shoved up into the doors. The door glass is not broke. And here I am trying to hit them, break them, and they won't break. So I could get in and just at least drag him out before the car catches on fire. It was just an unbelievable feeling. You know, one of your friends there, can't get him out of the car, and before it blows up. I couldn't have been there more than a couple minutes, and these two guys from a nearby wrecking company that had been monitoring the police radio stopped by.
Get a crowbar! Right in here. Right here. Oh, keep working, keep working, keep working.
The only thing holding him up was his seatbelt. And I could see that he wasn't breathing. I was there to help, but I was helpless. And it was very frustrating.
Word of a fellow officer in trouble sent sheriff's deputies rushing to his aid. A fire rescue unit arrived within 3 minutes.
When the fire department arrived on the scene, they immediately came out with big long pry bars and was tearing the doors off, trying to get to him.
If they had to break a window to get Mike out, they might risk injuring him further. Bobby McBee was among the first paramedics on the scene.
When I first saw Mike, the way he was slumped over and in the position he was in, and from the looks of the car, I was almost positive it was a hopeless situation and he was going to be recovering a body. Just frustrating trying to get him out of the vehicle because you want to do it instantaneously and it doesn't happen that fast. We found Mike to be alive. We immediately started our ABCs, which is airway, breathing, and circulation. His respirations were just going downhill fast. He was going from breathing about 18 to 20 times a minute down to 10 or less. I was constantly concerned that he was going to stop breathing or die in the car, and there wouldn't be a whole lot I could do for him while he was in the car. So I was just really wanting to get him out of that vehicle as quick as I could.
In my mind, I took him away. I thought, man, he's dead. Next time I see him, he'll be casket, funeral home.
The phone rang, and I thought, now, this is bad. I didn't say hello or anything. I just said, what's wrong? And the lady on the other line from dispatch, she said, is Officer Mike Loveday your husband? I said, yes, he is. And she said, well, he's been involved in a serious car wreck, and you better get to UTER immediately. And all I could think about was the dream he had, and I thought, you know, well, it's come true, but not for me, but for him.
Mike was in a coma when he was admitted to the emergency room under the care of Dr. Blaine Anderson.
We knew that he had a head injury. We didn't know how severe that head injury was, and we weren't sure what other injuries he might have going on. So I certainly, when he first arrived, felt that he may have sustained injuries that he could die from.
The nurse came into the waiting room and handed me Mike's wedding band, and I just looked at it. I said, "Where's Mike? What is wrong with Mike?" And she said, "Just sit down, be calm, the doctor will be with you in a minute." I just felt like I was powerless, that I couldn't do anything for him. You know, I wanted to make everything okay, but I couldn't. When I saw him lying there, it was like it was me laying there. Other than Benjamin, our son, he was my life, and I just felt helpless, like there was nothing I could do. He was just lifeless. I was scared to death he was gonna die. I kept telling him, "Mike, I love you." So "I love you, Mike." I said, "You're gonna be okay." And he squeezed my hand. Each time he squeezed my hand, that gave me a ray of hope that I knew he was gonna be okay.
After 4 days in a coma, Mike Loveday regained consciousness.
He had a head injury from which he could have had permanent disability. But I think because of the care that he received in the field, the initial care that he received here, his rehab care, and especially because of the support that he had at home, that he has made a complete recovery.
Nights on Get TV.
Just like, you know, I never thought anything like this would ever happen to us, but it does. But now he's fine. In fact, I like him better. I love him better because of, I guess, everything we went through.
And I pulled him up out of the water, and there was no breathing whatsoever. And I remember him having blood coming out of both ears, and that scared me. And I thought, you know, when I remember seeing that a long time ago and hearing that.
I think I put this part 1 of Wave Runner Down on YouTube already, but I guess I didn't put part 2 on there of Wave Runner Down.
Today on Rescue 911, running on the river.
The worst part was not knowing what was wrong with him at the time.
A wave runner accident leaves a boy in critical condition.
My concern was to get him to the hospital alive.
Plus,
Just hold up. Give me all your money.
an armed robber
He did shoot. 3 times.
leads police on a wild chase.
This person is willing to use the gun that they're carrying.
Police! Put the gun down!
On Rescue 911.
When 18-year-old Alex Bayless collided with his friend Eric Frensdorf while riding their wave runners, Alex was left unconscious, floating face down in the river. A group of kids who knew them saw the accident from their boat and rushed over to help.
We knew we had to be careful with his head, his back. We didn't know what was wrong. We just wanted to be as careful as we could to not hurt him more than he was, because we knew he was very hurt and very on the verge of life and death.
While Eric went to find a phone to call for help, Cameron drove Alex to shore.
Alex was all blue. He could barely breathe. He was making choking noises. The worst part was not knowing what was wrong with him at the time.
When we continue,
He had a soft spot in the back of the head. That indicated to me that he had a skull fracture, and my concern was to get him to the hospital alive.
These are the times.
When the laughs come from the heart and
1-800-236-1882. You could save hundreds of dollars.
You know, then you kind of strike me as a smart shopper.
I think I am.
Yeah.
I try to be a smart shopper.
So you like to save.
Oh gosh, who doesn't like to save?
Well, switching to the Hartford can save you hundreds. AARP members who switched to the Hartford saved an average of $449.
That's quite a savings.
You know, 96% of customers recommend the Hartford to friends and family.
I think I'll do just the same.
I can count on it?
Oh, you can count on it.
Join the millions of drivers 50 and over who switched to the AARP Auto Insurance Program from the Hartford. Not an AARP member? The Hartford can help you join in minutes. To get your free no-obligation quote and see how much you could save, call the Hartford at 1-800-236-1882. That's 1-800-236-1882. Or go to gohartfordauto.com. The Bucks got your back.
Join the Bunkers for some family time. All in the Family. Weeknights at 8 p.m. Eastern.
Rescue units with the Clarkston Fire Department were dispatched to the scene, including paramedic Jerry Altnoyer.
Let's get his neck break down. His blood pupils long.
Alex was having some problems breathing.
Let's go ahead and get this neck break.
He had a soft spot in the back of the head, which usually indicates that there's been a skull fracture.
Just hang on to him. Don't let him.
My concern was to get him to the hospital alive, because I didn't think he was going to make it.
18-year-old Alex was admitted to St. Joseph Regional Medical Center in extremely critical condition. His parents, Bob and Joanne, were notified of his accident.
It was just like a brick hitting me. And I cried all the way to the hospital, Lord, please save my son. That's all I could think of was pray for help.
Neurosurgeon T. William Hill was called in to treat Alex.
It was evidence from the CT scan that he had suffered a very serious head injury. It was impossible to tell at that point in time whether he would wake up, or if he did wake up, whether he'd be left with a serious deficit.
Just before Alex went into surgery, his parents got to see him.
It was like I couldn't believe what I was going through. This morning, he was with us, and now he's laying here. It just can't be true. One of the nurses came up and asked us if we had any other family, any sisters or brothers, and we told them yes, and they told us that we should probably get a hold of them. And at that time, I knew it was really bad. I know we're losing.
Following surgery, Alex remained in a coma.
It's hard to be able to tell a family that their loved one's not improving. Over the first 5 or 6 days, he developed a serious pneumonia. We noted subsequently that he was not moving his right side. And these all worried his parents each time we brought him more bad news. So we see that come down, we got to leave the monitor in place.
I didn't care if he was paralyzed, if he couldn't speak, if he just lived. I wanted him to wake up. I wanted him to look at me. And he just lay there, you know? And I just kept talking to him. I wanted some kind of reaction.
And then it was just a waiting game. It was just numb and helplessness. It's the only thing I can say to describe the feeling.
I remember going there and seeing Alex, and I started feeling guilty because of what had happened to him. He's in the hospital right now. Now virtually, nothing really had happened to me. I just remember thinking, why did it happen to him and not me?
Then he opened his eyes. I'll never forget that look as long as I live. It was a horrible, distant, empty look.
Alex Bayless spent 4 weeks in the hospital recovering and 2 months in physical and occupational therapy. His sister, Bobby Jo, was often at his side.
He did have to learn to do a lot of things that he already knew how to do previously over again. But he did it.
In the years since the accident, Alex graduated from high school a member of the National Honor Society. But his rehabilitation has been difficult.
I remember one time they had me take a test for cognitive retraining, and I couldn't do it. And I called my father from the hospital, and I was crying to him on the phone because I couldn't do it. And I tell him, I say, I can remember I used to be able to do this.
Every once in a while you can see when you're talking to him that he's struggling to remember things. But he really worked hard to get where he is today. I'm so proud of that kid. I'm so proud of Alex that I can't even describe how proud I am of him.
I couldn't hear nothing about it.
Well, after the accident happened, we became really close. Started sharing George's feelings more and more. It's just the whole accident that changed the way I thought about life. Anything can happen, and you could be having fun one time, and snap in a second, and there it is.
Everything that happened from the point of the accident forward has been good. From the moment that Eric turned Alex over on his back and saved him from drowning. And it's been good. And we thank everybody for it. Unfortunately, we had to be shown the hard way what a helmet could have done. If you're going to be riding a personal watercraft, you should wear a helmet.
Those things are dangerous. They're not just toys out there. People can get hurt or even killed. And I'd like people to know that.
He's my only brother, but he's still an ornery little turd. The accident did bring us closer. I love my brother a lot. And I'm so glad he's alive. We all are.
Next.
The suspect had a total disregard for his life and for the life of the officer involved.
Meet Elka, the supportive friend.
Someone recently mistook me for Kate Beckinsale, and I told him.
Elsie. We also knew her because her son was coming up to the scouting ranks about the time I was a den master. She's a real jovial type person, which made it kind of a pleasure to go in and just visit with her occasionally. But if a woman is working in these stores at night by herself, in some instances it works against the woman.
What can I get for you this morning?
This is all the familiar money.
Met Elsie. But I also knew her because her son was
origination. And for the 6th year in a row, they've also ranked us highest in the nation for mortgage servicing. At Quicken Loans, we have a mortgage program that'll be flexible to your unique situation. And we have the home loan experts to guide you through the process with confidence. It's a client-focused combination of products and people you'd expect from America's largest mortgage lender. To learn more about how you can leverage the value in your home, call us today or go to rocketmortgage.com.
Catch Amen on Funny Side Up every weekday at 6 a.m. Eastern.
December 2nd, 1989, in San Angelo, Texas, 10-year police veteran Sergeant Roe Wallace was making the rounds on his usual beat. At an all-night convenience store nearby, Clerk Elsie Buttry was working alone.
As a patrol officer on the night shift is where I first met Elsie. But I also knew her because her son was coming up to the scouting ranks about the time I was a den master. She's a real jovial type person, which made it kind of a pleasure to go in and just visit with her occasionally. Well, if a woman is working in these stores at night by herself, in some instances it works against the woman.
What can I get for you this morning?
This is a whole $3 million money.
I'm not gonna put up with that this morning.
Hey.
At 5:54 a.m., a call for help came into the San Angelo police.
911 emergency, may I help you? This is Elsie, and today is the black freeway. I just been robbed at gunpoint. Okay, did you get a description? Talk to stay on the line. The 1031 robbery just occurred with a 1032 at Bryant, today's convenience store.
As officers headed to the scene, dispatcher Joanne Tobias tried to get more information from Elsie.
Did you get a description? As the earring is his left ear, baseball cap, sweatshirt, jeans, his shoes. Baseball cap, sweatshirt, blue sweatshirt.
I could feel my heart beating at the same time I was talking to her. At that time, I thought I have to calm down because if I let her know that I'm excited, she wasn't going to be able to give me the information.
You got your doors locked? No, he told me not to move, that he'd be watching me and shoot me through the window. Okay, can you sit down somewhere? I'm down behind the cabinet where he can't see me. Okay. Stay on the line with me. And your name is what? Elsie Buttry. It's okay. Did he hurt you? He shot it before, and it shot down something on my leg, but I'm all right. He did shoot just a little forward. Okay, he did shoot. 3 times. Shots fired, he did shoot. The subject, 1031 robbery. He was on a handgun, shot 4 times. Last year, 20 foot towards corner.
One of the nearest officers to the scene was Roe Wallace.
But when I heard the shots had been fired, and of course knowing Elsie and her son, it's kind of struck home. It kind of hit. It's almost like a member of your family.
My ears are ringing. Hey, lock the door. There's somebody here. Okay, go ahead and leave the phone open. You can go lock the door.
And she's the only one in that store. She's the only one in that area. And that guy's out there watching her.
Okay, you there? Hello?
You feel helpless at that point. It's hard. It's really hard. You block everything else out because you want to get everything you can from that person to save their life or save someone else's life.
Within 2 minutes of the call, the first squad cars arrived.
Hello, it's Gary. Roe is there? Okay, well, you just talk to Roe, okay, Elsie? Okay, thank you. Okay. Bye. Bye-bye.
When I saw Roe, it was great relief. It's like the cavalry coming over the top of the hill.
Yeah, what happened?
Oh, he shot at me, Roe.
She was really, really upset.
It's okay.
It really kind of hurt me to know that she'd been through that.
Officer Bill Mabe immediately began searching for the suspect.
As I came around behind the convenience store to check the area, I noticed that there was a pickup parked there. When I heard that shots had been fired in the store, you know there's an additional threat there that this person is willing to use the gun that they're carrying. It appeared to have been there all night because all the windows had a very heavy dew over them. We had had a very heavy dew that night.
Two other patrol officers were sent to help with the search.
Officer May, he's the type of officer that if there's something that needs to be done, he was the type of guy that would just go out there and do what needed to be done.
We'll be checking a vehicle, Digitech, 29th.
I observed this car parked in the parking lot of a business that had closed approximately a month prior to this incident. All the windows on the car were clean. Any vehicle that would have been parked out overnight, the windows would have been covered with dew.
Please! Please!
Officer Bob Frazier was on routine patrol a few miles away.
Several other units announced that they were joining the chase. I advised dispatch that I was eastbound on Glenna and I was going directly toward the chase. I believe they were traveling approximately 75, 80 miles an hour, so they was closing the gap between us pretty quickly. I pulled my unit across the road to set up a roadblock. When they were maybe 200 yards from me, it appeared to me that the suspect wasn't going to stop.
This suspect had a total disregard for his life and for the life of the officers involved. The lead police vehicle experienced some minor car trouble and he began slowing down. But the suspect was getting away at that point. I pulled out and passed the two patrol cars in front of me and took up the lead position.
Officer May pulled directly in behind his vehicle.
Police! Put the gun down! Put it down! The gun's down!
May was probably in the most danger because he was in direct line of fire to the suspect.
Put the gun down now!
The suspect began pointing one hand at Mabe and then he was pointing back to himself, pointing at his chest.
Put the gun down now!
The scariest moment to me was when the officer yelled shots fired. I didn't know who had been hit, who was down.
This was the first time that I had ever shot anyone.
Officer Mabe had fired 3 times, hitting the suspect once.
When I saw the blood on the back of the car, you just get a real sinking feeling. And you know that you've shot another person. It's something that you try to prepare yourself for, but you never know that you're going to be able to do it until the time comes down.
I said, Lou, you did what you had to do. And the man made up your mind for you. You didn't make that decision, he did.
The suspect subsequently recovered from the shooting. He was convicted of aggravated robbery and sentenced to 40 years in prison.
This is a nice reel.
A year and a half later, Elsie Buttery is still haunted by memories of that night.
I still see his
Origination. And for
You got to go home that day, and he didn't. And you're proud of yourself for doing a good job. I know I did the best job I could.
Excuse me.
I know I can count on you boys to take care of things while I'm gone.
We'll be fine, Dad.
Sandy, I had the radio removed from its fittings in the launch. I want you to take it over and give it to Abner and have him fix it. I've already called him about it, okay?
Okay.
And if any important mail comes, you can open it. I guess I'm all set. Flipper, I want you to take good care of the boys while I'm gone. There was nothing to worry about. I had to leave for a while, but I knew the boys could take care of themselves all right. Besides, they had plenty of work to do getting their diving gear in shape. I was going to the Marine Testing Lab to help them work with their new dolphin. It was the one that I'd helped them catch. After that, I was to survey a newly acquired section of the park, which we were setting aside as a bird sanctuary.
Dad said we should open the mail.
Well, you can open it and I can open it.
Seems kind of funny opening Dad's mail, doesn't it?
Yeah. Bills.
More bills.
What's this?
Careful with that, bud. It's a government check. That's what you use to pay these bills.
No, this.
Well, that's a computer card. The government uses them for official business.
Really official, important stuff? Because look what's stamped on it.
Termination pay.
Doesn't that mean like the ending? This is Dad's last paycheck. He's been fired.
Fired.
They call him Flipper, Flipper, faster than lightning. No one you see is smarter than he. And we know Flipper lives in a world full of wonder, lying there under the sea.
Yes, that's what the government card said. Termination pay, which is official for fired. Of course, I wasn't there to see it. Bud and Sandy faced the news alone.
Boy. Quiet, Flipper. This is awful.
Do we really have to leave here?
Sure looks that way.
Excuse me.
But we can't. This is where we live. All our friends are here. We have to leave Flipper. We will have to leave, won't we? Can't you say anything?
Quiet, bud. I'm trying to think.
What good's that gonna do?
Maybe if I got a job,
I can get my old paper out back.
we could make enough money to stay here. Except for one thing. We could never earn enough money to pay bills like these.
I never knew we were so expensive. Think we ought to call Dad and tell him he's been fired?
I guess so. Wait a minute. I know what let's do. We'll get Dad another job, a new job. So that when he comes back, he won't have anything to worry about, and we won't have to leave.
You mean not call him and tell him?
Wouldn't you rather get him a job and surprise him?
Sure.
Well, what are we waiting here for? Let's go to town. Come on.
Don't forget the radio.
Now, this next test will be to determine the dolphin's sonar ability. We're sure now that dolphins have a built-in sonar system much better than anything humans have developed.
They're pretty fantastic, aren't they? Well, let's see how he does. Right.
Now we'll put these blindfolds on to see how good his underwater sense really is. You know, these dolphins are amazing. They can hear 5 times as much as a person. They send off a high-pitched call, and they can tell by the way it bounces back from an object, the size, the shape, and even how far off it is.
Well, let's see how he does.
Right through everyone. Good. Well, we've made photos and tapes. Now, maybe in time, we humans can develop something just as good as Dolpher's got right now.
Well, I hope so.
Well, that about does it.
And if you ever need any help from Flipper or myself, don't hesitate to call. Well, I'm gonna fly over to Alligator Key. There's been some trouble over there. See you later. Good job. Good job. Yes.
Howdy, boys. Hi, Mr. Fish. Dropped the radio. Our dad talked to you about it.
Good.
Mr. Fish, we've got a very good friend who needs a job.
Oh?
He's great around boats. You don't know him. But whoever hires this man, they'd be real lucky.
Yeah, he knows these waters better than anybody.
Is that right? Everybody likes him, and he's an expert on just about everything.
He's the best in the world.
He sounds like a mighty good man. Your daddy know him?
Sort of.
But we can't tell you who he is.
Yeah, so don't ask.
Oh, no, I wouldn't want you to tell me who. Let me see. Hey, why don't we go over and talk to this fella on the construction barge? Come on.
Great.
So you can see from what these boys tell me, he's one of the best men in these parts.
The best.
Well, if he's all you say he is, a construction crew like ours can always handle a good man. He's hired.
That's great.
That's fine.
As a matter of fact, you boys came just in the nick of time. We're finishing up our work in Coconut Key. As of tomorrow, we're moving down the coast.
How far are you moving?
A couple of days away.
Away from Coral Key?
He wouldn't like that.
No, he's got to stay right here.
Thanks anyway, mister.
This friend of yours, he's got to stay here in Coral Key, right?
It's very important.
That's the reason why he wants the job, so we can stay right here.
Oh, wait, I think I got it.
You do?
You see that old boat? Well, the widow McGuire who owns it ain't as spry as she used to be. Now, maybe she could use a man aboard to help out.
You think so?
Well, she's a crusty old barnacle. And if you boys don't mind, I'd rather you saw her by yourself.
Thanks a lot.
That you, Jane? Wait till you hear what just happened. You promise not to tell a soul? Porter Ricks has just been fired. Fired.
This was our new bird and wildlife sanctuary. And as I flew over this newly acquired portion of the park and watched the quiet beauty of the scene below, I should have had the most peaceful feeling in the world. But for some unexplained reason, I felt uneasy.
Here you go, Flipper. Okay, lads. Now that the socializing's out of the way, to what do I owe this visit? Surely not just to hear about this seagoing wonder you claim's a friend of yours.
Well, he's a real marine expert, Ms. McGuire.
You see, Mrs. McGuire, now that everyone says you're getting old, you might need someone to help out with your boat.
Old? Who the tarnation says I'm old? You tell everybody I'm not so old I can't manage my own boat. Thank you very much.
Then you don't need a good man to help you out with the boat?
He's half the expert you make him out to be, but why doesn't he go see the boys over at the Navy station?
Good idea. The commander of the base will want to know about this, expert. I'll tell you what. Well, that's not exactly my department, but I'll write an introduction on this card for him. You boys know where the base is?
Yes, sir. It's just across the gunnery range.
Right. You take the road down to Long Key and turn left. Even though today's Saturday, the commander will be there till 5.
Thank you, sir.
That's all right. You tell your friend if he hurries, he might be able to reach him in time.
Thank you. Thank all of you very much.
Come on, Flipper. Listen, Sandy, we're never gonna find Dad in time.
I know. We'll go see the commander ourselves. We can tell him anything he needs to know.
Sure. We're never gonna get there in time if we take the way the lieutenant said.
Well, we'll cut across.
The gunnery range? Look, Sandy, Flipper doesn't want us to cross it.
It's okay, Flipper. The Navy never fires on Saturday.
I flew back to Coral Key to pick up the truck. I was on my way to help Dennis Blake, a young ranger who had reported a strange problem at the far end of Coral Key Park.
Now, this is as far as I went for it. But it's out here where the trouble is. If it wasn't for regulations, I'd have gone on myself.
Well, I'm sure you can handle it alone, Dennis. I guess I'm just along for the ride, but I'm glad you called.
Oh.
Now, just what is the trouble?
I don't know. But up to a couple of weeks ago, this whole area was filled with wildlife. Now everything's moving away.
Let's try and find out why, all right?
Right.
You get in here, Dennis, and I'll go the other way. Now, if you see anything, call me, right?
Right.
Okay. And Dennis,
Yeah?
let's go carefully, all right?
Right.
When I saw the bones in the dried-up bog, I realized what had happened to the animals in the area. They'd been trapped in the treacherous pits and died.
Dennis, don't panic. Stay as still as you can. All right, that's coming out to you now. Stay as still as you can. Porter, where are you? Where are you, Porter? Right above you, Dennis. Try and give me your hand. Okay. No. Up to the left. Little boy. Oh. Got it. Get back. Let me have it. Come on, baby. Come on. That's your boy. Come on up.
Excellent. I got him. Okay, move along the limb. You okay, Dennis? You okay? Yeah, I got you. Come on, let's get out of here. Come on.
This is Porter Ricks. I read you. Go ahead.
Hey, Porter, how about some coffee?
This is Porter Ricks. I read you. Go ahead.
Yeah, talking about you.
Yeah, I know. I can't get through to him. I'm gonna have to go back to Coral Key right away. See you later.
Hey, Porter.
Yeah.
I owe you a lot of thanks for the day.
Let's just say we owe the guys who made up the regulations for thanks. I knew something was wrong, but I didn't know what. Sandy and Bud were trying to find me a job and were cutting right across the Naval Gunnery Range, convinced that they were safe. But little did they know that the Navy was preparing to fire.
Everyone loves.
For more full episodes of Flipper and for more full Rescue 911 videos, hit the big red button and subscribe. Peace out, YouTube. I'm going to click on Finish Event now to end this stream. Okay, this stream is now over. Peace out, YouTube. I'm going to click on Finish Stream now. Finish